All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about something called the Beekeeper School. And yeah, you heard that right. It starts with bees. But trust me, this is about way more than that. It's about building communities, opening doors, and really creating a whole new life.
So, that brings us to the big question, right? The puzzle at the heart of all this. How in the world does a beehive lead to a home mortgage? I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? A huge leap. But you got to stick with me here because how they connect those two dots, it's remarkable.
So, how do they pull it off? To get it, we've got to look beyond the bees for a second and really unpack the mission here. Because like I said, this is way bigger than just beekeeping.
Okay, so the engine that makes this whole thing run is this idea of a social enterprise. And if you're not familiar, what it means is pretty simple. The profits don't just go into some shareholder's pocket. Nope, every single dollar they make gets plowed right back into the mission. That's the secret sauce, you know? It's what makes the whole system actually work long-term.
And what's really wild is just how ambitious this mission is. I mean, look at this. They're not just trying to solve one thing. It's a full-on attack on these huge systemic problems. We're talking about helping people re-enter society, fighting food deserts, even creating local pollinator gardens and a honey business, and it's all aimed at that one massive goal, a real, tangible path to owning a home.
So a mission that big, how do you even begin to make it happen? Well, you don't just hope for the best. You engineer it. You build a rock-solid plan. And their plan follows this really brilliant framework they call Simple, Smarter, Forward. Let's break down what that actually looks like.
All right, so first up is simple, and it really is. The journey for a participant is super clear and hands-on. They're not sitting in a classroom reading about bees. No way. They're out there actually working with the hives, learning the rhythms of the seasons, harvesting the honey. They learn the whole business, from end to end. It's a straight line, a really direct path to mastering a craft, and more importantly, a business.
Next up, smarter. And this is where it gets really clever. See, they're not just selling honey in a generic jar. They're creating a premium, desirable product. Check this out. They're packaging the reserve honey in exclusive Yeti bottles. I mean, come on. That is genius. It's a total masterclass in branding and creating instant buzz.
And that brings us to Forward. This is all about thinking ahead. Their big public event, Munchyfest, isn't just something they throw together. Its success is meticulously planned, literally months in advance. You can see it right here, from the initial strategy to building partnerships, all the way to event day and tracking the impact afterwards. This isn't just an event, it's a movement, and this is how you build one that lasts.
Okay, so our participants have learned the skills, right? They've got this amazing product. Now what? Where do they actually put all that knowledge into practice? Well, that's where the Living Lab comes in. And it's got a pretty great name, Munchyfest.
So Munchyfest is this awesome monthly food truck festival and farmers market. And get this, the source material calls it the heartbeat of the local economy. That tells you everything you need to know, right? This is where it all comes together. All that training, all that hard work, it becomes real. It's where these apprentices stop being students and truly become entrepreneurs.
And we're not talking about just selling some honey out of an old cash box here. The skills they're learning are the real deal. They're running their own booth, processing their own sales, and mastering all the modern payment platforms you and I use every day: Square, PayPal, Venmo. This is where they feel that connection, that powerful, direct link between their effort and the money they earn. It's a game changer.
And if you're wondering, does this actually work financially? Well, here are the numbers. This isn't just wishful thinking. This is a real P&L projection, and it shows how this market can generate a really healthy net profit every single month. This right here, this is the financial engine that keeps the whole social mission running.
So what do they do with all that profit? This is where that forward thinking comes back in a big way. They don't just spend it, they reinvest it strategically. Just look at this breakdown. A huge 80% goes right back into the business, 40% to pay down loans and build a solid foundation, and another 40% into reserves for the future. The other 20%? That goes into advertising, which brings in more customers, which makes more profit. You see, it's a perfect, self-sustaining cycle of growth.
All right, so we've seen the what and the how. We've seen the bees, the business, the money. But now we need to talk about the why. Why does this work on a human level? This is where we get to the really profound part. the deep psychological core that makes this whole transformation possible.
So, underneath everything, the honey, the marketing, all of it, the entire program is built on this powerful psychological concept called desistence. It sounds academic, but it's actually really simple. It's about an identity shift. The idea is, when you master a new skill, when you build a new positive routine, you give yourself the power to walk away from old behaviors. You're not just changing what you do, you are actively, literally building a new you. And this chart just lays it out so perfectly. It shows how it all works. Every single activity is connected to a much deeper impact. The simple act of beekeeping, that gives someone purpose, a daily routine. Selling the honey, that creates real financial independence. And running that booth at the market, that's what forges a brand new identity, the identity of an entrepreneur. See how it all links together? And really, it all comes down to this quote I found in the source material. It hits the nail on the head. Sweet things happen when you believe in second chances. That's it. That's the whole philosophy right there. You have to start with that belief. And once you do, all the other sweet things, the honey, the money, the new life, they all just follow.
And look, if this whole idea gets you as fired up as it gets me, they actually make it super easy to show some support. You can pre-order some of that awesome honey, you could sponsor a whole hive, or even book a booth at Munchyfest yourself. Just a few ways to get involved.
So when you step back and look at it, what we've really seen is this incredible system where bees, business, and a deep belief in people all come together. And it kind of leaves you with this big question to chew on, right? How is it that weaving together all these different threads, tending bees, mastering digital payments, running a market stall, how does that create such a powerful and honestly unexpected path to independence? It's an amazing model to think about. Thanks for exploring it with me.